Namaskaram to all of you. It is 4:30. The general pujaris, when somebody goes to temple, will identify you in terms of place and time. For that, the sloka which is generally used is Brahmandanam Madhye, in the center of the Brahmanda. Bharadagande or Jambudvipe, you can give reference. In Jambudvipa, the Asia Bhugandam. Bharadagande, the portion of India. Bharatavarshe, and then they will tell you that if I am in Andhra Pradesh or Hyderabad, while doing puja, the reference is given that I am in so and so place. So that starts with the Brahmandanam Madhye. In the whole Brahmanda you are there. And where are you in the Brahmanda? Jambudvipe. Jambudvipe starts from Australia. Now we have somebody from Thailand. Tan Chai Ching is there from Thailand. So once upon a time, Jambudvipe was part. All these areas were part of Jambudvipe. And it goes up to Mongolia, China border. So where was the center? The center happens to be Meru. Meru is Kailash. That is why Kailash has got this much importance. Because that happens to be the center of universe, if you want to say. Or center of earth. If your universe is only where you are living, and that is center of earth. So the reference is always given with reference to the place where you have. And we knew that earth was round, sun was going around it. How do we know? Where is the reference that earth was round? Because the term used is Bhugolam. Golam means sphere. That means the traditional Indian knowledge, the heritage knowledge of India, knew that earth was round. It is after long years Magellan found that earth is not flat, earth is round. You know the ship coming up and that the story of invention of all that came quite later, because in every puja which we do, Bhugolam, the word is used, Golam. Golam means round. Not even that. If you look at the spherical nature of earth is also mentioned in many of the scientific textbooks which came after that. Maybe one of the scientific textbook which authentically establishes earth as a sphere is Aryabhadiyam. Aryabhata, we know that Aryabhata is a great mathematician. And Aryabhata wrote Aryabhadiyam probably maybe 1500 years before Galileo. So you can imagine these informations were with us in the early AD, before AD 500. So it is not imagination, it is not a mythology, it is not story that India knew that it was Bhugolam. And much more authentic sloka can be, we knew that Lanka was part of Bharat, India. That is why in Ramayana story you see Ravana is in Lanka, Sri Lanka. Sita was in Lanka for some time, kidnapped and taken to Lanka. And it was not away from Bharat, it was all part of Bharat. The Bharata Vamsha is a big land. So, Udayoyo Lankayam, when there is sunrise in Lanka, so Astamaye Savidureva. It is in Europe, it is evening. So that means we knew that when Sri Lanka had morning, Europe had evening. Siddhapuram is Rome. Siddhapure madhyano. In Rome area, it is madhyanam. Yavakodya Romakadeshe Vishaye Sya Ardhararthyam Syat. This shows that the earth was round and Bharat had got this idea. So when we talk about India, when we talk about Jambudvipa, Bharataganda, Bharatadesha, the center of India was considered as Meru. Not India, the Bharatavamsha. The big Bharat. Up to Mongolia. So if you go and ponder inside again, you will understand the Veda was never written in the so-called India today. Today what we know India is from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, right? So that portion of the place was not Veda was written at all. Veda was written in Mongolia, China border. So how can we claim that Veda belongs to India now? Veda belongs to Bharat. And Bharat is a big nation in which today probably the heritage is more proudly being accepted and controlled, probably taken by India. So when we talk about Bharat, we should understand Bharat is not the India border. That is why I think Sandhya had a doubt when I said Meroha Dakshine Parshve. When we say that we are from this part of the land, why do we call Meru, Kailash, as a reference and say south of Kailash we live? Because north of Kailash was also part of India. East, west, south, north of Kailash, the Meru is Kailash, which is supposed to be the part of the whole Bharat, and only that is why Indo-European plate. You can see the plate, Indo-European plate is never in part of India today. It is beyond Himalayas, outside Himalaya, north of Himalaya. It is not part of today's India. Indo-European plate was a single plate. Indian plate was separate plate. And that was part of Australia if you look at geographically. So the whole Pangea together, if you look at it, once upon a time when we are talking about this story, it is in the whole universe was, the whole earth was a single block. And you can connect all these. You take the world map and then see where Africa can be connected to India, America can be connected to India, or maybe India can be connected to the other parts. It's all one and the same. So I remember, you can listen to what I spoke on last Onam celebration. I was in Indianapolis. I was talking about the Vamana came and then Mahabali was pushed down. It is not pushed down. He was sent to the other part of the world. And where is that? That is South America. So the punishment transfer was given to a Kerala king and he was sent to South America. So you can see all that reference I am in that talk, I am giving all the references. So each place, Suradesham is another place which is not under the earth. But when you look at earth today, it becomes under the earth because the other part of India. Got it? So I remember the Mammoth Caves, or maybe you have Bermuda Triangle. The other day I was talking in a radio program, Bermuda Triangle. So I have to explain where is Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda Triangle is exactly, if you take a radius or a diameter across India, from India-Pakistan border, Bermuda Triangle is on the other part. So Bermuda Triangle, how do you know where is Bermuda Triangle? You have to say that, no, with reference to India-Pakistan border, you go the other side, it is Bermuda Triangle. So how am I referring? I am saying under that, you go the other side. Similarly, Mahabali was sent other side of the earth. Today, we have to go and then find out the place like this. So the reference was given always Meru as the center, east, north, south, west. When we say Bharatadesham, don't consider India as today's boundary. It is beyond today's boundary. Right? So this was understood. We had a Greenwich meridian. I don't know how many people knew. Today Greenwich meridian zero reference is in the Europe. That is where Greenwich, the place Greenwich is the reference for east and west. Once upon a time India had an east and west as center of India as the reference. And that too was with Lanka as reference. You can see there is a small tilt in the longitude. That tilt was not given by anybody else. That tilt was also known to India. Because even today when you draw the line, how the line is to be drawn? Lanka Vatsyapura Vandi. Lanka to Vatsyapura. Where is Vatsyapura? Vatsyapura is, anybody knows where is Vatsyapura? Khajuraho. So the Khajuraho, the traditional old name of Khajuraho is Vatsyapura. Vatsyayana. Everybody knows Vatsyayana is very famous. But Vatsyapura is not that famous. So Vatsyapura is the place where Vatsyayana was there. Whatever Vatsyayana described in his textbook is available as a statue in Khajuraho today. No dance forms can be shown other than a poster which is already there in Khajuraho. So you can imagine the Indian tradition of dance was one of the greatest asset. And where is it kept? Where do you keep your best asset? In the corner of the house or in the center of the house? So it's in the center of the house always. So similarly, where did India kept its best knowledge? In the center of the India. Where is center of India? The same line which Meru, Khajuraho, Lanka. Lanka Vatsyapura Vandi Sthaneshwara Sura Alayan. Sura, you take a thread. Sura means a thread. You have to take a thread, put one end of the thread in Lanka, another thread in Vatsya, and then keep a line like this. That's how the line is drawn with a rope. And that rope is called Deshandara Vidayini. That is what is called zero longitudinal line. That is the timeline. The center of India was known. Center of Bharat was known. This is not written when the India, after India, Pakistan or Bangladesh partition. This is much, much earlier than this. Therefore, we know the Bharat, the whole Desham, the knowledge which we are talking today doesn't belong to these people who are living from Kashmir to Kanyakumari or maybe Gujarat to Assam or the Arunachal Pradesh. No. It belongs to the whole people. That is why you see Ramayana. Ramayana, different versions in different part of the world. It is spread across. Maybe Mahabharata will not be that spread across because by the time the continental movement has happened, little more reduced. Bharatadesham becomes smaller. Ramayana is much more older, earlier. Because Satya Yuga, nature is single one agglomeration, one nature, one land. After that Ramayana came. How did Ramayana came? Ramayana came as two different societies were fighting. That is why Rama different, Lanka different. So before Ramayana, everybody was together. The fight between societies came during Treta Yuga. Satya Yugam, no fight. Everybody was living together like a family. In Treta Yuga, what happened? Society started fighting. Definitely partition would have started from Treta Yuga. Therefore, Dwapara Yuga is the time when we are talking about Mahabharata. Bharat became still smaller. See, the mythology, tradition, geography, geophysical, plate movements, timeline, everything can be connected and learned together. So then Mahabharata happened. That is in Dwapara Yuga. After that the Kali Yuga came. Definitely in Kali Yuga people will start dividing again. So pre-independence, post-independence, all India is separate. So when we talk today, even while doing the puja, we are connecting ourselves to the tradition. So definitely it is not in Satyuga. No puja, no temple, nothing was there in Satyuga. Because people never had problem. God concept comes and worry comes only when you have problems. So why do you worry about anything? No, because we are close to nature. If at all we want to pray only to Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas are earth, water, fire, air and space, Akash. That's it. All 5 elements. Earth, mud, water, then fire, air, fire, and then space. So these Panchabhutas was only what is seen inside Vedas also. So after that, when Treta Yuga came, people started giving references. Because Sita was there. Where was Sita? We have to tell she was in Himalayas. Because Himavan's daughter, Sita is Himalaya's daughter. So she was there. Where was Rama? Rama was in Ayodhya. And then he traveled up to south. He traveled to many places. His travel path can be established. He went to Lanka. But where was Hanuman from? All these people have to be identified. Geographically, where are these people from? Where is Ashwathama? He is from Haryana. Parashurama from Kerala. Bali Maharaja was from Kerala. We don't know whether the same Bali or Mahabali was different and Maveli was different. But anyway, one of the only reference was that. Vyasa was in UP, Uttar Pradesh. Hanuman, Andaman. Andaman Nicobar Island was Hanuman's place. Vibhishana was in Sri Lanka. Ravana was in Sri Lanka. Definitely Vibhishana was in Sri Lanka. Kripacharya was in Iran. So Iran was also part of Bharat. That's why he said Langa Vatsyapuravan, this Thaneshwara Surailand, center here. So you count both sides. Up to where? Rome. Romagadeshe. Romagadesham is the first name of Rome. And during Mahabharata war, the biggest problem was Gandhari came from slightly away from today's India, crossing Pakistan. She was from Afghanistan. Gandhar Naresh. Kandahar. Kandahar is Gandhar. Kandahar is the place in Gandhar. Gandhar, I remember working with Kandahar. When aircraft was... Yeah, Rudradev remembers that in the office we were working when the aircraft was hijacked. We took satellite image and identified where the map was given by my team during that time. So Gandhar, Kandahar, from Indian king married to Afghanistan lady. So which was India? India was all that part of that Bharat. It was not considered as a separate. There were small kingdoms and kings around. So Ashwathama, Bali, Vyasa, Hanuman, Vibhishana, Kripa, Parashurama, all these were considered as Chiranjeevis also. They are still alive. That is what we believe. Yeah. So if you think about the place, you must have a reference. All these geographical locations has to be understood. Krishna's time, yes. He also moved from one place to another place. He studied in a different state. He went to Mathura. He was from Gujarat coast. Then he went to Delhi, nearby Delhi. See, you can see the references. They were traveling thousands of kilometers during those days. So understand the geographical locations, learn it. That was a beautiful question from Sandhya. And also I answered the question where Bhargavi also asked the same question, right?
No, sir. I asked what is the difference between moksha, enlightenment.
Two questions you had. Both the questions were
Nirvana.
this.
One was in Bhagavad Gita. Is there anything about forgiveness?
Okay, so okay, I mistook whose question. So your question is now. I think Sandhya's question I answered. So two questions were from Sandhya, which was reference. She also wanted explanation of Bhagavad Gita Dhyana Sloka. That we will take it up because we started connecting yesterday's class and then questions. We will continue with this. Now, so your question was when. What is the difference between moksha,
enlightenment,
yeah, moksha, enlightenment,
nirvana, samadhi?
Yeah.
Are these all terms interchangeable or are they different?
See, one of the biggest problem with Sanskritam, the Sanskrit language, nothing is interchangeable. It has got unique meaning. But we are mixing different languages here. Which are the terms you wanted? Again, repeat it one by one. Yeah, see, enlightenment. Which language is this?
Enlightenment is in English.
English. So, one you wanted to compare English with the. Okay, now tell me what is enlightenment in Telugu, your mother tongue? Vikasam is Pragati in Sanskrit. Vikasam is development in English. Vikasam is progress in English. When materially you grow, it becomes development. Spiritually, when you grow, it becomes enlightenment. But in English, there are no different words. Progress, spiritual progress, materialistic progress. You understood? In Bharatiya Shastram, each word has got a very specific meaning. I keep giving small example. Like a mother's love towards daughter or son, sneham. Everybody understands sneham. Premam is also different, sneham is also different. Prema, sneha, both are different. When it comes to English, it becomes only love. So it becomes very difficult. That is why I said samadhi when you translate meditation. Is samadhi is enlightenment? No. It is not a progress. It is a fall. You are falling inside a deep devotional state where your actions become so casual. It's a state. Samadhi is a state. You just become so casual. Now, do you think I am reading something and giving an answer? No. Did I read somewhere I am recollecting and giving an answer? No. I am not doing it. It just flows. How does it flow? I am sure it's not coming from my buddhi because I am not even thinking. I can't even think. It doesn't come from my manas because I did not feel it so closely. Where does it come from? It just comes. It just casually happens. Is it possible to give an answer like this so casually? Is it possible is a big question. Then I will ask you a return question. Do Bhargavi knows how to make a circle without an instrument box? Without a compass? How?
With a thread I can make it.
Without a thread, don't you make with a muglu? When you put that rice powder in the front house, have you seen your grandmother using a thread and then putting it, or just like that they will put? How did they put? Okay, Bhargavi did not become that meditative. That enlightenment hand is not there with you, but your grandmother had. You understood? How did they draw that geometry without any instrument box? Okay, when you make chapati, Do you make a circle first and then fill the atta inside and make a nice round, or does it becomes round automatically?
We make it round automatically.
How does it become automatically? You ask somebody who doesn't know how to make a chapati, they will make Indian map once, they will make a Pakistan map another time. Why it doesn't become round? You are so casually you are able to do it. You ask a taxi driver, is he using his buddhi for driving? Is he using his buddhi for driving, or he casually drives? See, when you see that a driver drives and then he talks to somebody, he may scold somebody else on the phone, you get scared because how is he able to concentrate in both places? Yeah. Okay, now tell me, a driver who learns driving first time, will he be able to talk over telephone and then speak to somebody and then drive? No. So while learning, what you require? You require your buddhi, you require your manas. Both your mind and the thought, everything has to be together. Logically, you must understand where is accelerator, where is clutch, where is brake. Otherwise, you will mix it everything. Accident can happen. But after some time, it becomes so casual to you. That state is the ultimate progress. Correct or not? So you progressed as a cook. Somebody progressed as a lecturer. Somebody progressed as a driver. Somebody is a tailor. They will exactly cut wherever it is required. They will not do any mistake. In meanwhile, they can talk to somebody else. They can look here and there. Still things will happen. Have you seen people stitching just like that without even seeing? They will do that. While walking, do you think, where is my house? Do I have to take a left turn or right turn, or automatically you travel? Are you using your buddhi to come back to your house?
No.
Why? If you want to go from your kitchen to the bedroom, do you think kitchen is on left side or right side?
No.
Why? See, your leg knows. That is what the consciousness. See, the consciousness is there in every cell in my body. My body knows everything. It is not that simple. I am not saying it is that simple. But we do it every day and become so casual. That is the progress. That is the consciousness. Will you be able to get this consciousness in every action you do? Then you are an enlightened person. Not only driving, not only cooking, not only teaching. Can you do it in everything what you do? That is, your personality becomes the supreme personality. Who is supreme personality? God. Who is God? Enlightened person. So what is personality development? Somebody goes for personality development. What? Talking becomes good. That is what Arjuna is asking. You remember? Sthita pratnasya ka bhasha. How do a sthita pratna speak? Internally I may not be good, but can I show myself? Pretend that I can speak well? Yeah, some places somehow you will escape. But is that good enough? No. So showing is different. Feeling is different. Being is different. So what is enlightenment? Being in the consciousness, in samadhi. You connect. I was being put under connecting an electroencephalograph to check my buddhi is working or not while giving lecture. And they found that my buddhi is not working while giving lecture. I am not thinking while giving lecture. It was done in my ashram in Rishikesh, Himalayan meditation. My lecture is meditative lecture. So I don't even remember what do I speak now. That's why I keep recording. That's why I keep on recording. Not now. This started probably 20 years back. Video recording today because I wanted to publish it in YouTube. Otherwise, audio record all my lectures, most of my lectures, because I myself don't remember what answer I gave. If I have good audience, I will give good answers. The questions are good, I get thrilled. So more than normal, because while teaching I have to refer the book. While answering I don't have to refer the book. So that is like when you are making, it's not a very big thing. Don't think it's a big thing. Because like you are making chapati, this is my job which I am doing. That's it. When you make punugu, when you wanted to add salt to atta, Do you measure the salt? You want to make a tea. Do you measure water, everything by... No, you just put it and it becomes exact same tea every time. Understood? Will you be able to get this consciousness? That is the development stage. In your action, in your thoughts, do you have this Sthita Prajnavastha? Or do you keep on conflicting? What to do, whether to do this or whether to do that? You don't have that confusion. Your buddhi is not very much active. So that level of buddhi being inactive, buddhi is not active because I am seeing you, but you are all seeing me, right? Are you really seeing me or hearing me? When I told you that you are seeing me, you started looking at me. Until I say you are seeing me, you are only hearing me. Though you are seeing me, you are not seeing me, you are only hearing me. So you know how to switch your concentration from eyes to ears. Correct or not? Assume that you are listening to a beautiful lecture and you have something eating, you will keep on eating without even knowing the taste. So your indriya becomes inactive. Assume you are concentrating somewhere, somebody comes and touches you, you don't even know that somebody was standing beside you or touching beside you. Because you are so much deep inside that, your concentration. That's what is Shraddha, Dhyanam. So when you get into the Dhyanam, then the next level is what? Meditation, Samadhi. You get dead inside that. You say sometime, no? I was totally inside and I gone inside that. Who has gone? I have gone inside that. How did you go inside that? Yeah, that is what is. I totally gone into that. You don't even remember what happened. I remember I attended my Swami Vedabharati's lecture in Delhi. I got into the lecture hall and then the lecture was over. I was thinking it's only 2 minutes I was there in the lecture. It was almost 2 hours. The 2 hours goes just like the 2 minutes. How does it happen? Because you are totally deep inside that. That is what the enjoyment. So that state of affair, that's why I said meditation cannot be measured in watch. You are totally inside that. You merge inside. You get inside that. Okay, now the another word is nirvana. What she said is nirvana, right? Yeah. What is nirvana? Nirvana is another word. Who used it? You don't see the word nirvana. Probably in Bhagavad Gita you will see. But before Bhagavad Gita there was no word nirvana. Or not even Buddhist.
Side they use
Yeah.
nirvana.
I just wanted to tell that. Some translations of Bhagavad Gita people have used nirvana. Otherwise Bhagavad Gita also doesn't have nirvana. It is a Buddhist word for moksha.
Moksham.
Moksham is what is used in Bhagavad Gita, but then Buddhist, probably I told in 2-3 times, Buddhism would have been never taken birth in India or Bharat, or Buddha would not have been thought about Buddhism if he would have read Bhagavad Gita. He must not have seen, because that time Bhagavad Gita was not this famous. So, instead of using the word moksha, Buddhists use the word nirvana. There is no difference between moksha and nirvana. What is nirvana? It's also meditation, but slight difference. I am in full enjoyment, ecstasy, happiness, in the extreme happiness. That is actually moksha. Moksha is not what you get after the death. Moksha is living. There is nothing after death, nobody knows. That is part of our 4. What is that 4 stages? What are the 4 stages?
Artha, Kama.
Yeah. Kamam, Artham, Dharmam, Moksham.
Dharma, Moksha.
Which are the 4 stages? In this order only. Kamam first, desire first. I have desire, I have a desire. When you have desire, you are in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. When you have desire, definitely there will be Vishadam. Kamam is there, then Vishadam is there because you don't get it. Everything what you want, you don't get. Everything what is attractive to you, you cannot make it yours. You don't, your buddhi will not allow, forget it. No, it will not happen. You will say, forget it, yeah. But no, but inside, why are you saying forget it? Because it is there inside you. It is troubling you. So, kamam is always desire. Desire is always dukkham. Because you cannot satisfy. Because kamam, desire is something when I want this, next level I want the highest level. Higher than that, bigger than that, greater than that. It will not stop. It will keep on adding. Artham, satisfy my desire, I need means of getting something done is called artham. So when I get this artham, there are two paths. One is dharmic and another is adharmic. Sometime I will not be able to get what I want. Then what do? I will approach different methods. Some methods are sanctified, cleared, countersigned by Dharmaputra, Dharmaraja, his father. Maybe Rama's path. But some are not. So what do? I want to go somewhere for a picnic. I don't have money to take my ticket. What do? I will steal money from somewhere. I will ask for bribe. I will influence somebody through something, power, position. Get it happen. So that's how most of the politicians do. The celebrities they do. They influence somebody to get something. Or they may surrender to somebody else to get a benefit. All these are possible in positions. They will do favor to somebody else. All these can happen so that what is happening to you, you are actually diluting your values, wisdom. Your dharma becomes adharma. So once you get it, the original requirement of getting, I want. Once you get it, you will start thinking, yes, the path was not correct. And it will start disturbing you yourself. So though if I go for a picnic, I got the ticket by stealing some money, I will have to come back to Hyderabad again. I am sure by the time I land here, police will be there. And that worry will make me not to enjoy the place where I went for enjoyment. Therefore, what will happen? Every moment it haunts me. Can it be called as enjoyment? So enjoyment, I am only exaggerating. It can happen everyday basis. Every day I scold somebody. Immediately I feel, why did I scold? I should not have done. So that scolding I am doing because that time I am enjoying. But immediately after that I feel, I should not have done it. Is there any activity in your life which makes you to say, I should not have done it? Then that is not moksha. Will you be in a position where all the time, whatever you are doing, I may tell whatever I want? Asha knows. Correct? I scold. Adira also knows. I scold people. Correct. But do I think about that and then say that, I did it? No. I told that's over. That chapter is over. Because I don't have hatred to the person. I have only hatred to the action. That time you did not. Therefore, I don't agree with you. But I will still agree with you as a person. Therefore, I love every individual in this world. I have no hatred to anybody. Rudradev knows how harsh I speak sometime. In the office to director also I must have scolded and then made problems. Everybody thinks, how dare he is. Podal, pogatum, poda. How does it matter to me? If not this, I will get some other job. Am I surrendering my dharma just to sanction? I keep saying, why do you worry about your confidential report and then become servant to somebody 365 days or 364 days, 1 day SCR? Confidential report once in a year only written. Why do you worry about him? Tell him, I don't care. I am a senior, you are a junior just because you are a buffalo who took birth a little earlier to me. That's it. You became a father because you took birth earlier to me. Otherwise, I would have been your father. That's it. See, age doesn't make any difference. Qualification doesn't make a difference. your no power, position, money doesn't make any difference. These are all nothing. What is that you do during that time has to be dharmic so that you feel happy. How can a social being be happy being individualistic? It is impossible. So you have to be human, you have to be social so that you can make many people satisfied, so that you can be good to many people. Therefore, whatever we stopped yesterday, Priyavakya Pradhanena, all that messages are there. Take all the values and then take a minimum path. So that is what is dharma. Dharma is not everything everywhere you can satisfy is impossible. That is why in Bhagavad Gita also you will see, Mahabharata also you will see, Rama you will see, Krishna you will see, they all have done small errors. But those errors are not big mistakes. Error is different, mistake is different. You understood? Fact is different and the truth is different. Fact is at that point of time what I am saying is fact. That is factual. But it is not truth. Truth is something else. So I may give you a fact to mesmerize you during that time, and then you will become obedient. You will do something for a better prevalence of truth for longer time. So what is moksha? Moksha is not happiness. It is a sequence of happiness. In that sequence of happiness, at the end what I get is a permanent happiness. So I don't feel that, yeah, I did a big mistake. That is not that. So that stage in which when you reach, that becomes moksha. That is the definition of moksha. So what is Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana Dharma determines two types of happiness. One is individualistic happiness, one is social happiness. These two karmas are called Ishta Karma and Purta Karma. So if somebody asks you, Hinduism, no Hinduism here. There is only humanism. There is only socialism. Being human, human being. Being social, social being. How do you become that? Sanatana Dharma. What is Sanatana Dharma? A way of life. What is the way of life? The way of life which determines how to make this world as a total happy, so that you will not become adharmic and you become not getting moksha individually. And once you do that, where do you go? You go to Surgam. Ishta karma. Ishtate labhate Surgam. That's a definition. Sanatana Dharma definition. Ishtate labhate Surgam. Second one, Purta karma. Purte moksham avapniyat. Purta karma will give you moksham. So what is Surgam? Temporary happiness. What is moksham? Permanent happiness. Long-term happiness. So what do you want? You want moksha or surga? Everybody want permanent happiness. So we want moksha. That moksha is called salvation. That moksha is called little different from nirvana. Nirvana is maybe in between this surgam and nirvana. That time deep breath. I am in nirvana stage. But as soon as you stop that meditation, again tension. That's why I keep saying, I remember in one of the TED talk I spoke, and then somebody commented, and then we had a discussion on that. Half an hour meditation, 23.5 hours tension. Do you want that? Or do you want half an hour tension? So what I want is, I want all of you to get training on not meditation, but on tension. Finish all your scolding somebody half an hour daily morning. Finish it. And then 23.5 you enjoy. Is it not better? Whereas what people will do, they will meditate half an hour, then whole tension in the another 23.5 hours. 8 hours if they sleep also, not normally sleeping perfectly. Therefore next day morning again the continuation will start. They will think while sleeping also, why did I do this? It was not good, I should not have done it. And that day, night is also spoiled. So, Surgam and Moksham. Ishtate labhate Surgam Purte Mokshamavapniyat. You may, I don't know where is the origin. These are all taught by my guru. So don't ask me which text, where is it? I don't have reference. And what is Ishtakarma? All the Purusharthas to satisfy. All the Panchakarmas, which Panjabhutatmaka karmas which you do. And what you do as the normal routine. Sri Bhudabali, Manushya, no? Yatnam, Danam, Tapas, Karmam, all that becomes part of the Ishtakarma. And then Purta Karma is what? Whatever nice plantation of tree. Because when you plant a tree, I told you, you are not going to eat that. I told you the karma and the phala when we describe in Bhagavad Gita. I told you planting a coconut tree, my father never thought he will only eat the coconuts. While digging the well, he never thought this water I will only drink. My family only will drink. That concept was not there. The whole village could drink. In my house, Nanam, whatever well which was dug by my father or grandfather or somebody, I think at least 25 country people, because many people came from different parts of the world to stay with me, right? Everybody must have drank that water, correct? So whom are you serving? You are serving large number of people around the world. So when you talk about plantation, and what sort of plant you have to plant? Yeah, when your tummy is full, you can look at flowers and say, rose plant is very beautiful. But when you feel hungry, will you feel? So don't make gardens. Don't make beautiful flower gardens. Before that, make a vegetable garden. That is only called as Purta Karma. So what is to be planted? Annapradhanam Udyanam. What Udyanam you have to make? Annapradhanam Udyanam. Whichever gives fruits. Not necessarily for me. Even for a crow, every animal, everything has to be. I don't know whether Adira and Asha remembers. In my house, there was a big drum kept near the well, and I used to fill it up so that any crow, squirrel, somebody can come and drink water, dog can come and drink water. Today, because everything is pipe and every house is closed, animals doesn't have food to eat, drink water. A very small waste was not throwing outside. Earlier it was thrown outside. Some stray dogs and birds could eat. Today we don't have. That is why you will see only in the market sometimes lot of crows and squirrels, and the railway station you will see maximum number of rats. That is because that's only that is the place where you get food. You understood? The whole world is closed. Only human being. We will not give anything to anybody else. That should not be there. We have to give food. That is why we have one great program in the temple festival. The priest will go around the temple and throw a little bit of rice in the floor.
Rice.
Yeah. What is that called? Sri Bhudabali. It is called Sri Bhudabali. Bhudabali. Bhudam is any other animal other than human being. Bali is giving food. To whom we should give food? Every animal, every creature, every small plant, because we removed those people from that place to construct a temple. Is it not belongs to that land? It belongs to all the other creatures in the world. See what a great concept Bharatiya Shastram. So moksham is not getting happiness for me. Give happiness to everybody around me was also considered as happiness. When the first food is given to my son, keeping him on my lap, I have to give the first anna. What is that activity called? Annaprasnam. The first food, first rice eating ceremony. You know, during that time, I am supposed to chant one sloka from the Rigveda. Sham no dvipade sham cha dushpade. Nobody chants this. Sham no dvipade sham cha dushpade. Every two-legged animal in the world, every four-legged animal in the world, every legged or non-legged animals in the world, let everybody get sufficient food. Then that day, let my son also have his food. That is what the father has to pray while feeding the son. Not telling that, no, let my son eat every day without having food for everybody else. Selfishness was never part of Bharatiya Shastram. Can you imagine what a great tradition we have? And what is moksha today? Pay 1 lakh rupees, close your eyes, and then listen to somebody's music, and then say, yeah, what are you seeing? Hold your breath. And you will hold the breath. And when you hold the breath, what are you holding?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. When you hold carbon dioxide, definitely hallucination will come, chakkar will come, and you will see violet light and twinkling stars, because that you will get even when you take opium, when you take kanja, when you take daru, when you take liquor also you will get this. And then the guru will say, yeah, tathastu, you got spiritual, you become tomorrow onwards my disciple. And everybody become disciple because they are into a hallucination. Addiction to drugs, addiction to spirituality. That's why it is called spirit and spirituality. Both are related. Both are different. Both are same only. Two different paths for moksha, nirvana. So you want that nirvana moksha? Or what Bharatiya Shastram defined as moksha, which is serving somebody else, giving food to somebody else. When you give some food to somebody else, what do you get out of it? I feel happy. When I give knowledge, what am I doing? I am enjoying. Otherwise, why do I give this talk like this? I am enjoying. I know you are suffering. No problem. I don't care. Because temporary suffering doesn't matter. But after some time, one day in your life, if you think, yeah, that lecture was good, that's enough. Because now I am enjoying. I should do what I enjoy now. But that should not disturb somebody else. Though I disturb somebody else, that temporarily that doesn't matter. Sometimes temporary disturbance is essential. Then only a long-term happiness will come. Got it? Some temporary rubbing is essential to make it smooth. Some harshness is essential. Then only it can become smooth. Every person is like a stone with a lot of sharp edges on each one of us. When we rub with a lot of people, my portion of my stone will break. That will become painful to me. But doesn't matter. That is how the stone in the river, while scratching, rubbing, touching, and pieces are lost. After some time, you will see beautiful shape, and then you will see what a beautiful stone is this. Why and how it became beautiful? Have you seen beautiful stones in the sea? Seashore close to the river. Whichever river has got maximum flow, Gandaki river, that stones will be more beautiful. Gandaki river, you know Gandaki river in Tibet, I went there. When you go to Tibet, Nepal, Tibet border, you will see Gandaki river, best place for rafting. You know why? From the river shore to the deep river, it is 200 meter down. Nobody makes bridges there. It's a beautiful Nepal. When you go to Gandaki river, the northeast of Nepal, if you go there in the villages, then you will see people, every one of us, like we have car, or in places like Alleppey, people have boat, but in Nepal, people have only rope. And that rope is what they use with a small basket connected to that to cross the river. Because from one place to the another place, they may not even have a road bridge, because that river can never have a road bridge, Brahmaputra. The bridge will be washed away. So what do? They make a big rope. And through that rope, they will pull themselves and then go to the other side. Everyone has got a rope way. That's how they go to temples. I remember traveling to northeast and all that. So each one of us must understand the world is variety. And in that world, everybody has got their own enjoyment. Every animal has got their own way of living. The world is so beautiful. We must enjoy. The enjoyment comes only when not me alone enjoying. I need someone who will share, care, love, understand. How do I make them in my life? How can I make somebody to be part of me without sharing? So the first ability is giving. So what do we teach? Give, 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 give. How do we make somebody to know that giving is the part of life? That ritual is called Yajna Yaga. So why do we have a fire and put the best rice, best ghee into the fire? That is to teach us how to sacrifice. I don't want best rice. We don't put the worst rice. Cut rice also will not be put. When you have a coconut, when you want to smash in front of Ganesha, will you put a coconut which is bad? Anyway, we are throwing it. No, let me throw a bad coconut. No. We want the best to be given. Where? To somebody. See, what is Bharatiya Shastra? The moksha comes only when whatever you have, give it to somebody else. Whatever I have, give it to somebody else. Give it free. Give it free. Can we have that? That is called Dhanam. So what is the best method to become happy in Kali Yuga? Dhanamevam Kale Yuge. Dhanam is one of the part. Second one, keep on repeating the names of Bhagavan. But with understanding the meaning of that. Understanding the meaning. Without understanding what you do, assume that you put Yaga Yajna, you are putting in the fire lot of ghee and rice. Without even knowing this concept, what is the purpose of doing it? So immediately after that you get a prasad and you eat the prasad. When people are around, you don't even share it to somebody else. No, that should not be done. You give it to everyone, yeah? That's what is to be done. So what do the temple rituals teach you? How to love everyone in the world. Why do you love everyone in the world? Because that gives happiness inside. How do you get happiness? Conjuse fellow, yeah, if I give something, I will not be happy. Sharing. So what is Sanatana Dharma? Sharing. And that is why Sanatana Dharma says, Ishtapurta for your individualist, in immediate happiness you will get. But Purta Karma, when you do, share to somebody else, you will get a long-term happiness. That is what? Ishtapurtam. So what is Sanatana Dharma? Ishtapurtam. What do Ishtapurtam will give you? Moksha. It is not a nirvana. It is not a samadhi. Okay. Actual samadhi is not closing your eyes and indriyas are closed, shut in a room and then do puja and then do Bhagavan Rama, 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 Rama. Slap that fellow doing nothing, Rama, Rama, morning onwards. Who will prepare food for them? All this chanting is useless if you don't do your job. What is the job? Give some job to somebody else, make some job to somebody else, do some activity, produce something, read something, learn something, teach something. Otherwise only Rama, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Ask what is the meaning? I don't know. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. What is the meaning? What is the meaning?
Krishna means take me away, Krishna.
Is it my lesson or do you know this otherwise? I told you. Yeah. So Hare Rama, how many people know? You don't give yourself and then you are telling take me, take me. Should I have to tell him take me all throughout? Once you tell it is good enough. You don't have to keep on telling take me, take me. That means you don't have trust in him. So what is essentially required? You tell that you take me. That's good enough once. The other day I went to one of the temple and they said, no, come inside, prasadam I will get. No, I don't want prasadam. I am going to take your Bhagavan from inside. I will take you to my house. Do you want me to come inside? No, then don't come. Say, who want prasadam? Yeah, who want this rice? I also have rice at my house. Why do I want to go to temple to get prasadam? It is not for prasadam. It is not for chicken biryani you are going to a temple. There are, in my place in Kannur, there is a temple in which you will give chicken as prasadam. Because everybody likes chicken. Why not? You don't have to be wonder. God doesn't know. Who knows what God likes? Huh? When I was in Delhi, I keep telling the children around me saying that I have just seen Krishna was going out for pan puri. Because everybody is giving only Sharkara Payasam to him, Jagri. He doesn't like Jagri. All the children, they will go to that dhaba fellow and then eat pani puri and then come to temple. And Krishna was getting that smell. Therefore, Krishna also just now went outside. The children will go and see, yeah, sir, Bhagavan is not there now. Then I will tell, I just saw they were going inside. That's how I spend the time with the children in the temple. And I said, go see, nicely you see. You want to see, you see like this, then you will see. Now he is there. Sir, how do you know? So I talked to him. He was only telling me I will go just out and come back. And then I told him, go. They believe. Children believe. How do you know? You can eat whatever you want. Once upon a time, people were eating only jaggery, only yellow rice. In Hyderabad, people give yellow rice. You give in Kerala yellow rice, they will spit at you. What is this yellow rice you are giving? Yeah. But you go to Gujarat, they will give you jalebi. You go to Assam, they will give you gruel, rice with water, and they will put fish also inside. Yeah, see, everywhere it is your wish. See, what you want, what you like is what you will give. Assume somebody invites me and you don't know what I like in my life to eat. You may make biryani because you like biryani, right? So you don't know what... Yeah, prasadam. I am not joking. Yeah, in Kerala, in Kannur, my district, there is a place where prasadam is given kallu. Because that is a traditional tribal area people inside a forest, they started the temple and toddy is one of the prasadam there. And another temple is there where chicken is given. Nothing wrong. It is all perfect, 100% perfect. In Assam or Tibet where I was telling the Gandaki, there is temple, Kamakhya temple, what do they give? They give goat. Is it not in Hyderabad there are Devi temples in which chicken is given? So once you can give the chicken and once you can give the blood of the chicken to the god, why you cannot cook it and give it also? With a nice masala, eastern powder.
Is it right to slaughter the animal?
See, there is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong and right in Bharatiya Shastram. Okay. It is only the context in which you do, who does it, why you are doing, where you are doing, in front of whom you are doing, that justifies it is right or wrong. For what purpose you are doing. See, for example, I am staying in a forest. As far as a forest person is concerned, you tell me what is the age of the god. Maybe much older. Don't you study in the revolution or the evolution and what happened in social science? Don't you see the Stone Age and Bronze Age? People started using weapons. They were all animal hunters. How can you say that an animal hunting person is the actual person who lives in the era of God?
Okay.
So what is correct, what is wrong is not there.
What?
It all depends on contextual. But what? As we progressed, that is what the enlightenment, the progress. We move from Tamasic to Rajasic to Sattvic. Tamasic to Rajasic to Sattvic. That progress is what is probably in today's context more better for us. But if I am surrounded by lot of Rajasic people, I become Tamasic, they will kill me. Therefore, Bhagavan told, nice to give Bhagavad Gita lecture. Agradas Chaduro Veda. All 4 Vedas you learn and start teaching. But if somebody doesn't listen, Prishtajasya Sharam Dhanur. From the back you take the Sharam and then start using it. Sharadapi, wherever Sharam has to be used, Sharam. Wherever Vedam knowledge has to be used, give knowledge. Wherever advice has to be given, advice. Wherever weapon has to be used, use weapon. That is why our Bhagavans also, one hand like this, the other hand will be always beside a weapon. You tell me which god doesn't have one Varada. Very good.
Ganapati?
Everyone, he has got all the weapons in his hand. How many hands, many weapons. You look at some of the Ganesha temples, send me a WhatsApp, I'll send you hundreds and thousands of pictures of Ganesha. Because I had an artist who drawn only Ganesha pictures. And we became world famous. Artist from Hyderabad. There are a lot of weapons. There are beautiful fight with Ganesha. Nobody can win Ganesha. That's why we want Ganesha as the first Bhagavan. When I want to know Vigneshwara, every Vignam. So now you understood or you got more confused, Bhargavi? You thought I will define what is this and meaning and then tell you. That Webster's dictionary can tell you. Maybe Google can tell you or Quora can tell you. But this I can only tell you. Correct, Kada? So we'll see you tomorrow with more questions. More questions. Send some questions that will make it more vibrant.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
May I ask you a small clarification?
Yeah.
What is the literary meaning of pranama?
Pranam means my prana is I am surrendering to you. Pranam. I am surrendering to you. That's what it means. What is surrendering? My ego I am surrendering. If at all I have.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram is also I am not there. Tiraskarika means leave it. So what is that I am leaving? Na me. I am not there. So assume that I am a teacher and I have to tell all of you, probably you are listening to me, I have to say Namaskaram. By which I am saying, I am also a learner and we are learning together. Suppose a minister or the chief minister or prime minister comes and tells Namaskaram, immediately you can put your hand on his shoulder. Because just now you said we are together, we are similar, we have no differences. If we have no difference, I can put my hand on your shoulder, right? So some people tell without understanding the name. Namaste is different. Namaste is only salutation. But namaste should not be like this. It should be not like this. It should be like this. There has to be air within that. So Sashtanga Pranamam when you do, there are 8 angas in your body to be touched on the ground. In which this is called Anjali. And this doesn't happen here. Either it should happen here or it should happen here. Should not close your mouth. Many politicians do like this, right? Don't do that. Either it should be above this or it should be below this. But don't do Namaskaram or don't do Namaste to Bhagavan. Many people do Namaste to Bhagavan. No. To Bhagavan you should only ask. So this is the best posture. Have you seen all the Swamijis, Sannyasis will hold hands like this? Yeah, you are asking, I want a blessing. Where this hand to be holded? This hand to be kept near the navel. When you hold your hand, definitely it will go and stand there only. That is how the body structure is created. You cannot put it down or up. When you stretch it properly, you will hold this, it will reach at the navel. If your aspect ratio is perfect. If you are the beautiful person. But big belly, sometimes it doesn't. So if you are there, actually you are getting that energy from there and then holding to your body. That is what it happens. Nave is the most powerful place. So you are getting energy through the nave. That is the mechanism of praying. So to Bhagavan there is no Namaste, no Namaskar. Individually who are equal, I can say Namaskar.
Sir, may I ask you one question?
Yeah.
But in many of the chantings, even in Shankaracharya's chantings also, Namaste, Namaste, Vibho Vishwamurte.
See, Shankaracharya can call Bhagavan as Ni. They are equal. You understood? In most of the chantings, you will not use tu in Hindi. Tu hai Bhagavan. Do we like to call them as like that? Because Shankaracharya had that. See, you know, Paramahamsa, when he went close to Devi, instead of putting the garland to Devi, he put himself. Can I do that today? No. I am not supposed to do that. Just because somebody did it. But that is how they have written. So we are also chanting. That's it. I don't call somebody without respect, without adding all the prefix, I cannot call. But we heard that from Shankara. Shankara chanting is different. Don't compare Asha with Shankaracharya. No, I know. I'm just making a joke.
No, I didn't mean like that.
Yeah, but our belief is that enlightenment will come, moksha will come, we will reach, we will become a supreme personality one day. Therefore, I want to practice that today onwards. But I don't know whether Shankara started with that. He must have attained that later time. Beautiful, good question.
Okay, thank you. Pranamam.
Pranamam, sir.
How did you enjoy from Thailand? Tan Ching. Did you understand my English?
Yes, I understand. And today I really learned a lot from Professors Sasikumar and everybody else. And I learned, the continuum of happiness from the temporary to the permanency.
Wonderful.
And there are so many different roads to happiness that Professor shared with us. And one of the most important is giving, serving others. And also Professor talked about the 5 elements, which are very, very important to us. And this is where we blend it in and not get contradiction with them. And so thank you very much. And I really learned a lot today.
Prayers.
For teaching me.
Prayers. He is from Thailand. We had in America, I had a lot of people, generally Thailand people love Indian spirituality. So America Satsang, I had individual discussions on Samadhi, meditation, many people were there. Good. Namaskaram. Thank you. So we have people from different parts of India, from Kashmir to Kerala. Good.
Guruji, one minute.
Yeah.
గురుజీ అవర్ ఆహార నియమాలు మన బుద్ధి పైన ఎంత ప్రభావం ఉంటుంది అనేది
We will discuss tomorrow. Yeah. Microbiotics, macrobiotics, how food influence your ahara vihara. And 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. We'll do that. So see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tomorrow 4:30. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.